Hey everyone, today I wanted to go through my personal ranking of the 12 Friday the 13th films. I didn't get into the Friday the 13th movies till I was a bit older, but by then I was already a huge fan of Michael Myers, Ghostface, and Freddy Krueger. So when I did start watching the films, I was more than eager to dive into Crystal Lake. Starting off at the bottom of my list shouldn't be a surprise to most. Number 12 is Jason Goes to Hell, the 9th Friday film. Few of the good things I can say about this movie are the beginning and the end, where we actually get to see Jason Voorhees. This look for Jason is controversial, but I like it. It was cool seeing the SWAT team show up and blow him to bits. And like everyone else, I do love the ending that teases Freddy vs. Jason. The film does have some cool gore and great kills, but all of that considered, it doesn't make me want to watch the movie more than once, so that's why it's at the bottom of my list. Next up is the 5th Friday the 13th. Slight spoilers ahead for a nearly 40-year-old movie, but Jason isn't the killer in this one. Now I am open to the idea of somebody disguised as Jason killing people, but in order for that to work, it needs to be written well, and the character needs to be interesting, and this movie had neither of those. Again, Part 5 had some cool kills, a lot of it sadly was censored, and I do like some of the characters in the film. The best part of the film is by far the enchilada pooping duet. Next up at number 10 is going to upset some people. It's the original Friday the 13th. Again, minor spoilers, but this film doesn't show the killer until the very end, and it's Jason's mother. The film is a fun one to watch once or twice, but it's slow, the characters aren't very interesting, and the ending isn't great when you already know the twist. Next at number 9 is Friday the 13th Part 7. Some of the pros of this film are Kane Hodder, and he gets one of the best looks Jason's ever had in the franchise. The idea of him going up against somebody like Carrie or Eleven is pretty cool, but again, the kills are censored, and the film just isn't the most interesting. Plus the ending where the dad's ghost pops out of the lake is lame. Next comes the 8th film in the franchise, Jason Takes Manhattan. I know this is another controversial film in the franchise history, but I've grown to like it over the years. Some of the pros, obviously the actual parts where they're in New York, which isn't much of the film at all. I like some of the characters, the chase scenes, and the kills, of course, including the girl with the guitar, the girl on the dance floor, the dad being plunged in the barrel of acid, and by far one of my favorite parts from the whole series of films is the face-off between Jason and Julius on the New York rooftop, where it's just a solid minute or two of him beating down on Jason, and Jason just taking it, until finally he tells Jason to give it his best shot, and in one punch knocks his head clear off his body, and Julius's head crashes down into a dumpster. It's both awesome and hilarious. I also love the part where Jason scares off the punks in Times Square when he lifts his mask up. Unfortunately, the film has a lot of dumb parts too. Like when the heroes keep seeing little boy Jason that for some reason has hair. Speaking of Jason, he also has the worst look of any Jasons when his mask is revealed at the end. Also having the dangerous chemicals in the New York sewers taking Jason out at the end is pretty lame as well. Plus he turns back into little boy Jason at the end. It makes no sense. It's a dumb movie, but I still have fun with it. After that is Friday the 13th 3D. This film is known for finally giving Jason his iconic hockey mask. It's filled with dumb, gimmicky 3D tricks like popcorn and Jason's hands coming out at you when he gets the axe to the head. Some of the characters are likable, but most of them are irritating like Shelly. We do get the worst fake head kill, but it is fun to watch. At this point, the series had solidified itself for exactly what it was. Number 6 is Friday the 13th Part 2. I've always been a fan of Baghead Jason, even with his weird hillbilly look underneath at the end. It's something cool and unique, but I'm glad we went away from it. Part 2 has some of the best characters in the series. I like at the end where she tries to trick him, putting on the sweater and pretending to be his mom. The direction of the film is much better than the first, and it's also a vast improvement, actually having Jason as the killer and seeing him throughout the film too. Unfortunately, it kills off the final girl from the first film in the first couple minutes, which is a trend that's always bothered me in horror movies. Number 5 might upset some of you guys, but I love Jason X. As you can see, I enjoy some of the campy horror movies, and Jason X is nothing but camp. These guys knew exactly what kind of film they were making, and they nailed it. When you get to the 10th film in a franchise, you can pretty much do anything. There's a lot of great things, including the kills. Both the designs of Modern Jason and Uber Jason are awesome. I like seeing him use futuristic tools. The sleeping bag kills were great, and of course the frozen head kill at the beginning. Next is the Friday the 13th remake. Of all the films in the franchise, this had some of the best and worst characters. I'm a big fan of Supernatural, so I was happy to see Jared Padalecki in it. The look of this Jason was great, and I love that he was a more realistic hunter. He was a smart Jason with tunnels and traps, and the way he would lure other victims out was terrifying. The film also perfectly combines the first 3 original films all into one. We get to see Mrs. Voorhees killed on the beach after she murders all the campers. Then we see Little Boy Jason. Then we see Baghead Jason. And finally, we get Hockey Mask Jason. The cold opening is also awesome. It's one of the best parts of the film, and a perfect short film on its own. Then there's Freddy vs. Jason. This is another guilty pleasure of mine. It's not a perfect movie by far. It's got a lot of issues, and most of the characters aren't great. But finally, after 20 years, we get to see 2 of the biggest horror icons face to face. Jason gets some great scenes and kills, including folding the guy on the bed in half. The cornfield massacre scene is awesome, where he's walking around on fire. And of course, the actual fights between Freddy and Jason are awesome. Just forget the dumb part where he's afraid of water. The last 20 minutes of the film where Freddy and Jason are tearing each other apart is perfect. My second favorite Friday the 13th film is Part 4, The Final Chapter. I know most people put this as their number 1. It has great moments, good characters like Crispin Glover and the twins, and of course Corey Feldman as Tommy Jarvis. It was great to see Savini back for makeup. Jason's look is awesome. This has some of the best kills in the series. And we can't forget about that girl with the banana on the side of the road. It's such a weird scene. But best of all is the ending, where he gets his hand split in half, and finally the machete brought down through his head, where he then falls to the ground and his head continues to slide through the machete. It's one of the coolest makeup effects I've ever seen. And it would have been a great send-off if that was the last Jason film. And finally, my favorite Friday the 13th film is Part 6, Jason Lives. I love Jason Lives. I can watch it all the time. I love Tommy Jarvis in it. I love that we get to see the counselors deal with actual little kids at the camp for once. Even the 2 jerk cops are the best in the series. I think Jason has one of his best looks in the franchise. I absolutely love the opening of the film, where it shows you exactly what it's going to be. It's the perfect Friday the 13th with a little camp and extra fun. We see Tommy Jarvis and his friend dig up Jason's corpse, but unfortunately for Tommy, a lightning bolt strikes Jason, bringing him back to life, where Jason immediately punches through the buddy's chest, pulling out his heart. I also love all the little vignettes like the couple and the bug that get taken out, or the paintballers, and of course the kills in the RV and ending with that awesome car crash. I also love the way they beat Jason by chaining him down and leaving him under the lake where he came from to begin with. I also like that for the first time Jason's fully supernatural in this film. He's not just human anymore, he's basically a zombie now, and I think it makes him scarier. Lastly, I can't forget the breaking the fourth wall and other funny moments in the film, like when the gravedigger looks at the audience and says, "Some people have a strange sense of entertainment." Or later when he looks at his bottle and says, "You're going to be the death of me," before Jason stabs him with it. So that's my ranking of the Friday the 13th film series. Do you agree or disagree? Let me know your favorite Friday the 13th film.